wireless if you want to talk.
That's good, yeah.
This one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're waiting for. You know what? I can start playing myself, actually. I'd like to just start for a second. I can play myself. Let's see. Oh, we're late. Let's start. Hey. We like to start, right? I don't need an intro, man. I'm not into intros now. I'm not into intros. Thanks. I hate intros. Hi, I'm Greg. No, that's the intro. And we are all music students, so that's a good thing. I hope we are all music students. Today we're just going to play a little bit, but I'm going to talk a little bit, and we'll play a little bit, and we talk, and kind of have a good time. What I've seen so far is very encouraging. It's good to always have young people trying to play music in general, period. So whether you're playing straight ahead or free jazz or whatever you want to play, rock, whatever, the fact that you're studying and want to become better, I think is a huge and important thing for us to deal with. So with that, as I was telling the students before, as you're in school, try and push yourself more. Push yourself more than what they ask you for. So I know you guys have a list of some songs you have to learn, one a week. That's really not sufficient. You should be wanting more than one a week. So the fact that they tell you one a week is cool, but you should be doing more work than one a week. And this is to anyone who's leaving the school or just coming in. The work starts the day that you decide to become a musician. That's when the work starts. So school is really nothing, I'll be honest with you. For all you listening out there, the work starts after you leave school. You become a musician when you have to start paying your own bills and you're not living at home with mommy and daddy. So once that starts, then you're a professional musician because you have to take care of yourself. So this is really how it starts. Everything you do here is just meeting your peers, that's all, and learning some stuff. But the real learning starts the minute you walk out those doors and it's on you. So you need to have that mindset the day you walk in, not the day you're leaving, all right? So everything you do here should be preparing yourself for when you walk out the door. But if you're thinking about that in your last year or the months before you're leaving, you've already made a mistake. Then you wasted your time here. Maybe they won't tell you that, but I can because I'm not a teacher here. So I can tell you all the things that they might not be able to tell you. So you get the 100% honest, real deal from me, what it takes to become a professional and to sustain your career. Before we play, the playing that's not important right now. The Masterclass is just talking about what you need to have and what you should be doing. So knowing songs is very important. You don't have to be a book, but you have to know some stuff. And for your instrument, you should want to know as much as you can. So that means study, 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 practice, 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 learn, 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 steal, 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 then forget, because we don't need carbon copies of anybody else. So I was commenting about a gentleman I was playing today. We make comments about people just not to embarrass anybody. It's just to point things out. we don't need copies, right? There's originals already out there, and if I need those guys, I call them, or those ladies, I call them. So you learn, you steal, then you forget. That's the way that you have a career. If your career is based, if you sound like someone else, your legacy will be that. And when you leave this earth, you don't want your legacy to be, oh, that's so-and-so, he sounded or she sounded like so-and-so. That should not be what you want. So do the work. Don't start with my generation, because that's a mistake. So let's use the drums example. If you're checking out Harlan, Bill Stewart, me, anybody in my generation or above, that's wrong. Don't do that. Go back to the real shit. Like, if you're not doing that, then you're wasting your time, because you're learning all the mistakes that we made. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to follow that? Don't do that. So go back to Chick Webb, Specs Wright. Do the drummers know Specs Wright, Chick Webb? All the drummers in here, raise your hands. Drummers? Anyone tell me Chick Webb, Specs Wright? Any, those drummers? If you're here and you don't know those drummers, shame, right? How many know them? You know Specs Wright and Chick Webb?
Chick Webb, yeah.
Okay, one. Who else? Anybody else know? See, that's the problem. How many of the drummers know Eric Carl and Brian Blade? See, that's a damn shame. See what I'm talking about right there? Okay, point proven. For every instrument, it's the same thing. Don't worry, I run into this in all the schools I teach at. And that's a failure on all levels. But if we want to talk about this on a university level, that's stuff that you should know. So that should be part of the curriculum. It's like knowing the history of your instrument. Let's talk about, before we even play, the playing is not important. You came for a concert, but I think you need to understand this stuff, because you can't play if you don't know this. Let's talk about learning songs. It's very important. I can't stress that enough. Learn, learn, learn. If you're not going to do that and you think, okay, I'm just going to play my original music, that's cool. That's great. But your original music won't have any substance to it, because you don't know what it is. So you can't do something if you don't know the history of it, right? That's pretty much understood, right? Yes? No? Yes. Okay, see, y'all musicians, you gotta speak up. This is some timid shit. You can't be timid and play music. I'm not timid. That's why I have a great career. I'm not timid. You gotta speak up. Yes, or yes, I don't know who Specs Wright is. Yes, I don't know. Yeah, if you don't know something, don't be shy, because the door opens and the door closes. Let's be clear. So we need a lot of luck. Like I told the class before, you need a lot of luck in this music, but if the door opens and you're not ready to go through, it closes. And we talk about that. We talk about all the people who get the chance and who sound sad when that chance comes. So don't be one of those people. Cool. Good. I'm glad I got that out the way. Oh, and if you're not going to show up to class, send a sub. I got to repeat all this shit because it seems like second nature, but somehow people forget that. If you're not showing up to your class, call and say you're not showing up, or send someone there. Don't waste my time. And don't waste your classmates' time who come, who are prepared to play, right? Is that cool? Everyone understood that? Because that, for me, that's an automatic failure. Like, you don't get another pass. If you don't show up and you don't call and we're waiting for you. So, yeah, now everyone's looking like, oh, damn, okay. See, I just watch and observe people, and this is what I do. So I watch and observe people who are serious and people who are not serious. So let me watch and observe you and let you be one of the ones that I think is serious. Because when I think you're serious, then I put your name out there to all my other friends. Like, yo, I went to this school, this dude, this lady, they were serious. Or I went to this school, yo, Josh, yo, man, what about the saxophone place? Oh, yo, bro, this dude, she gonna be nice, but this is what we talk about. So trust me, word gets around. Let's play. What you want to play? What you want to play? We haven't rehearsed, so we're just gonna play some tunes, trio, because we like trio, and we thought it would be nice for you guys to listen to trio. So we never played before, but we know each other. And oh shoot, wait, he taking the call. Oh, wait a minute. You're getting ready. I like that. You guys, of course, know these fine gentlemen because they're here with you, so you should be like always asking questions. asking questions. Like, if you're not asking questions while the teachers are here, then that's a mistake, you know? And at the same time, teachers aren't always right. So you have to question, and then you have to also have the common sense to say, okay, well, wait a minute. Let me go a little further and examine myself. So if I keep telling you the sky is red and you keep believing me, then that means that you're not really using your brain, because clearly the sky is not red, right? Okay.
California it is.
In Cali it is, yes, because it's burning. And it could be for many reasons, but we can't discuss that right now.
Future swing song?
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. Fuchsia swing song. So, since no one knows it, okay, that's it. So, for me, if no one knows it, you should be doing like him, and everyone should be putting that song, we should be writing it down. Like, if you don't know it, write it down. Fuchsia swing song. Sam Rivers. Sam Rivers. Great song, great song. So he just taught it to you guys, right? And so this is kind of proving my point. That's a song I learned when I was about 12. So you have to listen. You have to really get into this music. So it's not just that you arrive and you start. It's a passion. It's an everyday passion. No matter what it is that you want to play, you should be listening and learning the history. I gotta keep reiterating that because it's really important. Knowing music. And three people who've played together never come together, and it's like vocabulary. He called a song, and we play it. Now, he might call a song we don't know, and we still might try and play it. But the ears will be big enough that we'll figure it out, right? So that's how it kind of works. These are what jam sessions are kind of about. Getting up here and making fools of ourselves. If you don't know a tune, you lay out for a little bit, and you wait till you hear it. If you don't hear it, you ask. It's okay to ask. The thing that's not cool is if you don't know it and you don't make any movement to try and understand what's happening. So if you're just sitting there and listening to it like this, yeah, but you don't know it, like, okay, you leave the room and it doesn't hit you like, let me study that song. So study, study, study. I hate to say it, but it's what you have to do. What would you guys like to play next? Anyone want to say? You guys, you let them talk because they are your teachers here and they know better than me what it is that's happening and better than me what you're lacking. So if I was to ask you guys as professors here, what do you feel that the students are lacking? We'll start.
And be honest, please.
We have very different viewpoints on this. What are you lacking? If I can generalize, breadth of knowledge, I'd say. I always get the feeling that there's this fixation on what happened in New York in between 1948 and 1957 or something like that. And there's all this music before that and all this music after that that people don't really address enough, for my feeling. And when people talk about virtuosity, they talk about people that can play a lot of notes, but they don't talk about Pharoah Sanders, for instance, who can play a lot of notes in one note. And things like,
It's this. Woo-wee. Do you guys know Pharoah Sanders?
Okay.
Next.
Well, what they're lacking,
Well, it could both, not just lacking,
Okay.
the good and the bad.
Good
Let's
and
not
the
just
bad.
give them the bad.
Okay,
The good
okay.
too, I'm sorry. They're like, Hutch!
well, the fact that they're here, that's a very good thing.
Yes, sir.
I like that very much. And everybody is showing up and is really wants to do this. So that feels great. What I think that could be maybe better or maybe more intense would be the inner urge, so to speak. Like everybody has an inner urge, but like I'm talking about like crazy about it, you know, like really crazy about it. That's the best. The way I always say, like you can get there if you really want it, and if you didn't get there, maybe you didn't want it bad enough. So that's like what he's saying. Like I was always writing down everything all the tunes that I heard play at jam sessions, and then the next day I came back and they didn't play any of those tunes. I spent all day learning the tunes. Next night I come back and they play
Next ones, right?
Oh, write it down again.
That's right, man.
And I spent years going. Actually, I was living uptown in Harlem,
Yeah.
and I had to drive up up and down the 1 and 9 train, and I spent all those hours learning tunes.
Headphones, everything. So, I guess the message is the same. See, it doesn't matter where you come from, it's the same thing. We talking about learning tunes. What did I say before? I just said we were talking about the urgency of all of you put together in this room still don't equal the urgency I have to play this music. You see what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, the urgency and what I bring is comparable. If you put all of you in this, all of your energy in this room, you still don't equal up to my energy. It's not a bad thing. This is years of doing, but the urgency that I feel every time, that this could be the last time. I'm glad I felt that before the quarantine, because guess what? Didn't play no drums for months. Now imagine if I didn't have that feeling, and the quarantine comes and there's no music. Oh God, down, down, down. But because I have that urgency, if that was the last note that we ever played, I'm cool. Why? Because each one of us has that feeling. You can hear it just from what they're saying. As he said, there's a lot of music before and after. So, yeah, it's a difficult thing, but it's an easy thing, but it's a hard thing. If you love it and you really want to do it, it's really easy. Everything that's difficult about it actually is easy. But if you're really not sure, then it's difficult. And like I said, everyone's going to be different levels will be achieved here. There will be some people who play their instruments great. There'll be some people that won't. But the main thing that I think is the most important, it's not how good or bad you play your instrument, it's the feeling and the soul and the purpose that you're playing for. So the purpose I play the music is for you guys, to make you feel good, to elevate your souls and to make you leave this room thinking differently than you came in. Nothing other than that. That's it. That's I learned, and you will evolve to that. When I was first starting, when I was 21, it was all about as much as I can do, as much flash and this and that and this and that. And as you get older, the body slows down, which is natural. You lose speed, but then you gain something else. You gain the knowledge that you don't need to play a lot of notes. One note in the right place can do everything. And they don't pay me to play all those notes. The honest truth. So the one note in the right place makes the music feel great. If I sit up here and play a bunch of notes, bunch of notes, we're not making music. But if I understand that he's getting into something, I engage with him, but I give him that space to, if I'm all over him, he can't do anything. He's like, stop. So when you put a whole bandstand of people like that, it just turns into noise. As opposed to someone saying, you know what? Breath, breathe. Like, I don't need to play here. You can just play the rhymes, or you can just walk the line, or you can just play a whole note, or whatever. Space. Every space doesn't need to be filled. It doesn't. So when you learn that is when you start to play better music. So right now, probably in practice mode, when you play, many of you, because you practice a certain way, and therein also is the downfall, the way you practice also. So if you're practicing at a high volume, playing all the time, playing the fastest things, practicing on stuff that you already know, you're not really learning. You're wasting your time. But if you're practicing really soft and trying to play with intensity right here, and work on playing those chord changes, or work on playing those long tones with the bow. See, I play with Ray Brown. So every instrument you want to talk about, I can tell you someone I played with that I learned from. Ray Brown, the long tones. All day. Ray Brown playing scales in every key all day. Ray Brown walking bass lines. Oh, my room is right next door to his. Betty Carter, Diane Reeves, same thing. Same thing. At their age, still work ethic. Joe Henderson, work ethic. These people are older, right? Some of them are dead and some of them are alive. But the work ethic is the same because that's instilled in them. So if you don't have that, you better get it soon, because that's what this music deserves. We don't need half-ass. This music deserves the utmost respect, because this music is based off of people dying to play it. You understand? It's different for you guys. I explained before, it's a different urgency that you and I have for it, which has to do with a lot. But you can still have some of that. And you have to understand how the music was created and the sacrifice that people made to play this, so that you could come here to this nice school and go home to your parents You know what I'm saying? Like there were people dying to do this. So if you don't get that part and you need to research the history of what you're doing, I suggest you do that. So it gives you that urgency. But with urgency, you need to also hear something nice and soft like a ballad. So here comes a ballad of our choice. I feel like a video DJ. And now, the next song we're gonna play is gonna be a ballad. Yeah. Whatever you want to play.
For the ladies.
Oh, shit. No, see, last time I did that, man, I got in trouble. Because someone said, you can, and also we live in a time now where we can't make jokes, Guys, ladies, gentlemen, damn, it's not so serious. Relax. Life is not that crazy, man. We've gotten to a point where you can't say hello to someone the wrong way without it being something. It's not like that, man. This music, and ladies and guys, we're all the same in this. So let me be clear. The last thing I'm gonna say before we play, I don't look at it as women and men in jazz. No, I look at it this way. You can play or you can't play. With me on the bandstand, if you can play, you up here. If you can't play, I don't care. Woman, man, gay, straight, anything you want to be, can you play or can't play? That's all I care about. So if it's like that for everybody else, then we good. Guys, if this is pretty much male-dominated field, but you can't be that way. You can't. Your thinking has to be kind of like mine. Like, we just play with the best people. That's all. So with that said, let's play. leave it out there, right? I like that. So the beautiful thing about playing music and what happens also, what I found that as I got older, man, so it's funny he said New York, so this is classic. Everyone comes to New York and it's bebop, bebop, bebop. And that's what happened to me. I grew up in New York and it was bebop, bebop, bebop. Woo-wee. And then one day I woke up and said, what the hell is going on here? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, how old am I? There's a lot of music for me to listen to. Oh, wait a minute. So it went from one day to just Charlie Parker to the next day I was in Freeland. I was Andrew Hill. Oh, then I went, later period of Miles, open. And then I started hearing more music open and open. And do we always have to have spang-a-lang, 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 spang-a-lang? No, it doesn't always have to be that way. It could be free, and we could still move. So even on a ballad, there's movement on a ballad, but we could be even more freer and just kind of follow the lead of the melody and play that way, as opposed to implying a pulse. So many ways to play the ballad. There's the ballad where it's just like ding, 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 ding. That's cool if that's what you need. But why not play the lyric instead of playing? So the lyric is one thing, right? The ballad, the melody of the ballad. You play the melody all the time. This is something I learned from playing with singers, vocalists. Betty Carter told me, play the lyric. So if we're singing Embraceable You, I use these are good ones, or Skylark. If it's Skylark, but here I go with the brush. There is no love in that at all. Or Embrace Me, My Sweet Embraceable You. There's no. Where's the embrace in that? So this is for the drummers now. For the vocalists.
So what do you play?
Oh, you play very quietly, or you find an alternative sound, because this brush sound gets in the way of that lyric. So I'll give you an example. And I didn't believe it at first, and I had to try it myself. I'm not going to sing, you can forget that shit, but I'll just demonstrate what that is, though.
I'll sing.
So, and for all those out in streaming land, thank you for joining us. Too bad you can't be here. You're missing a hell of a show. It's the same thing you're watching now. So if this is going on, as opposed to now this is one way, right? But look at all that space that the vocalist has in between that I'm not filling up. It's only boom, bing, boom, bing, boom, bing, doom, 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 bing, boom, boom, boom. Oh, you're like, oh, the drummer knows the changes. Hell yeah, you better know the damn changes. So that's what it is, the space, right? So those are little things that I learned from asking questions and from being observant. But I didn't want to play the ballad this way anymore. I didn't want to be like, shh, shh, shh. I want to be free with how they want to interpret. So that melody could be interpreted between the three of us, and then it can go completely out. We don't know. But for the sake of you guys, we kept it there, but it couldn't have gone anywhere. If he wanted to take it left, we would go left. So the point is to be open to wherever the music can go. If your mind is one way, then that's the way you're going to go. So that's not good. I want to address something else that I heard earlier too. It's a conversation we were having about contemporary music being played within the jazz idiom, aka hip hop, in terms of playing within hip hop and jazz. Two different things, right? So learn the jazz vocabulary. This is a lifetime, man. Like this is, so when I hear people that do that, it kind of makes me think that they don't know vocabulary fully of jazz and integrate other things to kind of make up. I'm not talking about my man that played earlier, because clearly he knows some drums and I know that's cool. But there's two different things. So, you know, I was using a friend of mine as an example that you younger guys have checked out a lot, and I think that you've equated that to jazz music. When in actuality, so you could say, what is jazz? Jazz is improvised music. So therefore, any improvised music is jazz? That's optional. I'll leave that up to you. My opinion is exactly my opinion. So, but I will tell you this. There is a difference in listening to Earl Father Hines and Brett Garland and Philly and PC and Charlie Parker. So that's pretty much jazz. That's the jazz thing, we know, right? Or anyone playing, even for Andrew Hill, we associate that because it doesn't have a backbeat to it, right? And you put that backbeat in it and it changes things a little bit. So you could say it is that, but I spent a long time learning this vocabulary. And so for me, it is not that. Now, when I do hip hop, that's hip hop. There's no elements of this shit in that for me. No, it's a different thing. Younger generation, you guys have fused things together, but sometimes when you fuse, you become confused. And so you fused and become confused. Oh, Hutchinson, he's one of those purists. Yeah, I'm a purist to each form of the music. I'm a purist hip hop. When I hear hip hop cats who sound like jazz guys playing hip hop, I get really upset. And when I hear jazz guys playing hip hop that don't really know hip hop, I get even more upset. So you can't win. If you're gonna do it, you better know both. If you're gonna go in there, you gotta know what it is. If you're gonna play hip hop music, you gotta be able to tell me, okay, what is the SP12? What are all these drum machines, 808? What is this? What is that? You gotta know all that stuff. You're gonna do that. You can't just sit down and start playing a groove and say, okay, I know how to play hip hop. No, don't work that way. Don't work that way. You gotta be able to tell me, Melly Mel, Furious 5, Cold Crush Crew, who are all these groups? And if you know more about that than you know about jazz, and you're in the school for jazz, something's wrong. You get my point? Like, if you know that and you don't know what you came to school for, then something's wrong. So-called jazz school, right? Or conservatory. So a lot of looks on these faces like, oh shit, what's he saying? Wow, he's talking the truth. Wow, okay, I gotta really go back and study. You should have been studying in the first place. So the point is, if you're gonna become a musician, we have to know as much as we can nowadays, because we're limited to the amount of work we can do. So this is the time for you to study and really hone your craft. These months here that you had off, wow, you should have made progress. So if you came back to school sounding the same way you did before you left, that's a damn shame. That's really sad, because that means you didn't practice at all. Even if I didn't have drums at home, right? I live in Italy. All my neighbors, if I hit a snare drum, they go crazy. But I had a pad. I practiced my butt off on that pad. And I had my imagination for my eardrums. I played eardrums every day. Came back better. So if I'm doing it at 50, you should be doing it at what, 20s, 30s, most of y'all in here, right? Just still trying to get it together, right? So that's the difference. If I have energy at 50 to do this shit, there's no excuse why you shouldn't have energy to do it. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be better. So this kind of, I'm trying to guilt you into like getting the shit together, but in the actuality, I shouldn't have to be saying any of this. Like, just should be what you're doing by yourselves. So if this is all new to you and you've never heard this before, no one's ever said this to you, I'm glad I'm saying it to you now. Don't depend on someone else to tell you what to do. You're not kids. When I go to high schools, I kind of think that's how I need to talk to the high school kids, but I clearly see that you're not kids. So if you're not kids, get together what you need to get together and go on your journey. Because your journey is not my journey or his journey or his journey. We've got our own journeys in life going. Your journey is yet to come. But if you're not prepared for it, guess what? It's going to be a short one. And I can tell you a lot of musicians who've had short journeys who can play great, but just didn't have this. So you need to get this. That's the difference right here. It's the mental. You might know more theory of harmony than me, but I know more shit than you. That's the bottom line right there. So the amount of time it takes you to process, we talked about this earlier, my process time is immediately. The amount of time it takes you to process is anywhere from a day to 2 days to a week. It doesn't take me that long. I process immediately. What's happening here needs to be processed immediately. We don't have time to wait. So when you get to that point, then you get up here with me. Until that point, you're not up here with me, because if I see that happening, I get irate. Because it means that you're not as serious as the shit as I am. And I can't really, this is a life thing for me. So it's not, like I said, if it's not a life thing for you, then we can't really relate to each other on the bandstand. So when you get that, and as you all should have it now, but when you get it better, then we relate more and more. You know what I'm saying? Then we can get on the bandstand and play together. Until that point, we can get on the bandstand and play together, but you might feel a certain way because I'm going to roll over your ass. I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm going to roll over you, you know? So, but that's what it takes, because that's how I learned. They rolled over me until I stood up and said, you're not going to roll over me anymore. I'm going to learn how to play those fast-ass tempos. I'm going to learn how to play. Slower. So if I asked a saxophone player to come up and play this, or anybody else, you would have a hard time. Why? Because it's too much space for you right now. And you don't know how to have patience. Now I say a word. Patience, you see? Bars went by, nothing said. Boom, 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 boom. You see what I'm saying? Patience. I wait for it. Don't need every note in there. So this is something to learn. So how do you learn that? You got to listen to the right records like that. Someone told me that Joe Williams. Who was my man that was talking about Joe Williams earlier? I don't know if he's here, but that's it, man. Joe Williams is, you know, you want to learn some shit, Joe Williams will give it to you. I got to play with Joe Williams twice. Twice. That was amazing. Woo-wee. Cascais in Portugal. I never forget. First time, second time, North Sea Jazz Festival. Woo-wee. If you know, you can't get up there and be BSing. You got to know how to play the blues, right? Same thing, I played with Milt Jackson. Got sent as a sub. Kenny Washington sent me as a sub. Can you imagine me walking on stage? It's Bob Crenshaw and Milt Jackson. Oh my God. And Mike LaDon was playing. Can you imagine? And Milt, there was no, oh, here comes a young dude. No. It was like this. It was like, oh, okay, what are we playing? Let's go. It wasn't like, I was like, okay, what are we playing? Just straight in. Like, assumed that I knew what was going on. I quickly found out. All right. So this is the attitude that those guys had towards me, and it helped me because there was no babysitting. Meanwhile, I was like 16 or 17, 18. So, you know, I was like, oh shit, you know, what's going on? Same thing, same mentality, same thing with Joe Henderson. No babysitting, okay. Yo, if you're up here with us, you deserve to be here, right? So that means you did the work, so that they're not gonna treat you like, okay, your age. No. When you're up there, they'll look at you and say, okay, young man, young lady, that's nice. So check this out. But it's not going to be like, do you know the song? Do you know what we're playing now? Do you know what key it's in? No, they're not going to ask you that shit. They're going to start playing. But had I not, okay, drums are different, piano players. Had I not, or any other instrument, chordal, had I not known, that would be the end of it. Could you imagine Bob Crenshaw talking to Milt Jackson? Yeah, the young dude was cool, but he ain't no shit. Yeah, don't call him no more. Yeah. Whew. Then Milt Jackson goes and talks to Ray Brown before I get the gig with Ray. Yeah, Ray, what's going on? Ray, what's going on, Mill? How's the scene? Yeah, man, I played with this young drummer from New York the other day. Man, damn. Is this what they're teaching the kids? Because he didn't know shit. You see how I went from East Coast to West Coast? Then I wouldn't be playing with Ray Brown. So you see, everybody talks. Don't think just because you're here in this school that it won't get out. It will get out. And I live in Europe, so I hear everything about everybody from everywhere. Even if I don't want to hear it, it gets out. So your reputation is what you have. So the important thing is to make that as sound as it can be. So it's not always about us playing songs. It's really about what you need to listen to and the message you need to understand so that you can play. I don't need to play standards. I did that. Did that with everybody. So I don't need to come up here and play standards for you. You need to play standards. You need to learn the standards. That's the bottom line. So I used to be like, why are they preaching to me like that? Because that's the way it is. Because these guys, have earned the right to say many things. Not just from this age standpoint, but from the standpoint of doing it. That entitles you to say something. The longer you do something, the more you can say about it. So for me at 50, at a young 50, at a young 35, I can't keep going down, can I? Damn. So me at 50 has earned the right to say many things. Now, as I said before, sometimes we don't, and my generation doesn't because we feel like we're so close to you guys, like we feel closer to you guys. But in turn, you guys feel that since you are closer, that amount of respect is not given, to not only to the music, but to the people who've earned it. So when you earn it, you expect it. And the way we expect it is in you doing the work without me having to say it 3 or 4 times. You know what I'm saying? So that's professionalism. Don't wait for them to tell you something. You should be about it yourselves. And if you're not about it, why'd you come here? I mean, you could just stay home and study by yourself, right? Like, why'd you come here if you're not going to listen to the words and heed them from people who have earned that respect? So I could talk shit all day. You can't tell me nothing because I've earned the right to do that. The hours on the road, the hours of waking up at 4 in the morning, going to while you were still asleep at home, some of you still sleeping at home, 4 in the morning, me at the airport, 3 or 4 weeks at a time, I've earned that right. You can earn that right too. But you gotta do the work. And the work is great, man. I don't want to scare the shit out of you, but it's true. The work is great. All of this learning is beautiful. It's amazing learning tunes, enlightening your spirit and your soul. This is not just notes on a paper. Like, if that's what you think it is now, then please leave. Like, I really, just go. Like, if you're not really into this 100%, the door is right there. It's cool. For my class, you can come back and deal with them later, but for me, being here for a few days, if you're not really 100% in it, it's cool. I won't hold it against you. Just go. Because we need to make room for people that are really serious. So the mere fact that you all stayed means you're serious. So I expect this week, for the time I'm here, I expect the level to rise. So you may see me joking with you, but remember, at any moment I might ask you a question. If you can't answer that question, and it's something that I think you should know, I will be very upset. Because that means that you spend more time outside smoking cigarettes and bullshitting than you do in here. And that shouldn't be the case. Hutch always get him. I always come hard at him. But we let you off the hook too. You know, we let you off the hook. Let's play some more, man. I don't know. No, you know what? I want to prove a point here. No, 1 second. Okay. One drummer. I just need to hear one drummer for like 4 bars to prove my point. Who's the cat who can play here? Somebody, lady or gentleman, somebody stand up. Wow, Greg Hutchinson asked a drummer to come play and everybody's quiet. You gotta switch the drums around. See, I heard you play already. No. I want somebody else that I didn't hear. I heard you. You play drums? Well, come on, man. There we go. We just want a little bit, just a little bit. And then I need to be able to use you as an example. So if he plays great, then it's not fair. Shit. Okay, can we play just something real quick, and I'll come take over from him. Now I could ask you the tempo that's comfortable for you, but we're gonna let the professors pick the tempo. I might sing a song while he plays. I don't know what's going on Stop. Okay, nice. But, so if you're listening to everything playing here, you just turned the stereo on, thanks. So, that's okay, that's the first thing I would have told them. When you sit down, just make sure everything's cool. Secondly, I would say, if you're playing on the edge of the snare drum, that's a timbali sound. That does nothing for me. King. Even with the snare drum on, if you're playing on the rim, why are you playing on the rim when the sound of the drum is in the center? Right? So don't play it here. King. No. And then you can still be free, but have movement and crispness to your sound. Like everything shouldn't be wishy-washy like this. We can do that, but still have this. And so when you sat down and started playing, he was pushing the momentum, and you were pulling the momentum. Thus, if the tune would have kept going, you would have managed to pull it back, no matter how much he was going this way, because that's the energy you had when you sat down and started. So understanding the tune and how the tune is being approached. So as soon as he says, boom, 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 I would be, and then wherever you go from there, but once you get that bounce, then we can go. And yeah, you see that foot tapping. He's tapping just on me singing. You see, that's what it is. You got to bounce that way already. But it was good what you came with, but you just need to be focused. I'm speaking for drums now. Quarter note this way doesn't do anything for me. Jimmy Cobb did that, but it wasn't quarter note. If you play quarter note, you're restricting his note. And if your quarter note and his quarter note aren't the same, he's going to kill you after three beats. Because you're playing a flam. Flip. And I'm going to kill you because I hate listening to that. But he's going to get you first. So always start with walk the dog. As soon as you sit down, walk the dog. That's the first thing you should think. Do bitty and do gag boo bang, boo bang, walk the dog. Even on the two. Walk. I'm singing walk the dog. Do gag boo bang, walk the dog. Walk. Now you can have that Higgins beat. Or you can have that Philly. Or the Haynes beat or whatever. The Jimmy beat though, you really need to be playing a long time before you get to that Jimmy Cobb beat. Sorry guys. If you don't know, because Jimmy Cobb was a friend of mine, I used to always ask him about that. And his ride cymbal evolved to that. So you need to have that. Yeah, so you get that. But that's nice. See, we break you down, but then we give you something encouraging. The encouraging thing is that you had the guts to get up there in the first place, And for that, we love that because you're the person that will get ahead because you're not shy. Like everyone else seems to be, I don't know if they're the other drums in the days or what, it's a mystery, but I was always the dude that was like, who want to play? You got to get me off the stage. I'll play. Next to who want to play? Me. Who want to play me? If you're sitting back there like, I don't want to play, not me. Why are you here? But that's the other, why are you here? Because you're not going to overcome that when you leave here. If you're shy, you better get over it now. So whenever someone asks you, you want to play, especially like me, I'm here, like, what? Shit, if Blakey was up there like, who want to play? I'd be like, me. All right, Blakey, I'm going to show you who Greg Hutchinson is. That's my attitude. If you're there like, this ain't for you. It's grown folks music, not kid music, right? Okay, nice. Back there. Let's answer some questions. It can be about anything, for anyone, at any time. Yes, sir. Because we want everyone to know what you're saying.
So you were telling about how to play ballads, and you were speaking about this Skylar example. So, and earlier now you were saying that we should be listening to earlier drummers, not drummers of your generation. So, so my question is, which drummers of that older generation have this approach that you were applying on Skylark?
The thing about the ballad is this. Like as he said, the different time periods, right? So as you get later on in the music, the ballads start to open up more. If we talk about playing with Sarah Vaughan early on, or playing with people like that, or listening to music of that era, the ballads would play a certain way. Why? Because the music was actually being created at that time, right? So if you listen to Coltrane ballads, or you listen to Johnny Hartman and Coltrane, there's a thing, well, that's a thing. They say that falling in love is what? That's a great record. How many people know that record? Coltrane ballad, Johnny Hartman, John Coltrane? Okay, get that if you don't have it. It's great for like late night dinners. Okay, you guys are still going to McDonald's. No, late night dinners that you cook. You know, entertainment, two people get together like a couple, like, okay, I'm sorry. Different generation, I know. It's a different thing, I know. I should be a comic, right? It's cool. So, funny thing happened on my way to the jazz school. Learn the lyrics also. Because learning the lyrics to the ballads, now, I understand when I start to play a ballad, the lyrics start to come back from all the vocalists I play with. But the lyric is so important because as you know the lyric, you know how to play the song. That's with any song. So, it's a lot of work. Do I know all the lyrics to all the songs I play? No, but I know a lot. And usually in a song, when I start to play it, I can kind of hear it. Whether it's a jazz song, whatever, just learn the lyric. Okay, good question though. I hope I answered it. Just be open, man. Just play what you feel, what feels right for that particular moment. If you need to go shh, then you do that. If you need to be open, then be open. Next question?
They can't see us, but we yeah. He's asking them. Go ahead, man.
I want to ask about your personality.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I want to know your main inspiration because you're a real big drummer, and I'm really wondering that where you get inspiration from, what and how to get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, I'm not as big as I was before. I lost weight, so I thought that picture that was going around, that's not really me, because I slimmed down. I'm 75 kilos now, bro, so it's all muscle. No. And thank you for the big drummer, but I'm not a big drummer. I'm just like you guys. The only difference is the year I was born and where I was born. Other than that, I have the same issues you have. Same problems with ladies, same problems with bills, same problems with all kinds of stuff. My inspiration, though, comes from my mom, who passed away, who was my biggest fan, my dad, who wasn't in my life, but who gave me the music, who gave me the drums, and really, people I meet. Really, like, I'm inspired. I'm weird, man. People think I'm crazy, but nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I've made mistakes. But you try and learn from your mistakes. And I try and help other people not make the same mistakes I made, right? So that's my inspiration. It's like turning you on to something that can either maybe save your life or make your life better. That's why I say the questions don't have to be about music, because there's so much more than this. This is just a vehicle for us to communicate through that we all happen to be in the same lane with. But it's so much bigger than this. So the inspiration ultimately has to come from within yourself. But for me, like I said, to get going, it was my mom and really, you know, just the people that I were around early on in my life, and the people in this music who were the Blakeys, the Maxwell, those people inspired me. They kicked my ass, but they inspired me at the same time. I would say probably Ray Brown was the biggest. Ray Brown and Betty Carter were the two biggest. Betty was the first one because I had her when I was maybe 19 or 20, and the first thing she told me, which is what I told to you guys, is, you know, at 19 or 20, I'm playing all the Philly and Mac shit I knew. And the first day of rehearsal, this is what she said to me. She was singing. She looked over, I'm like, oh, she likes it. Yeah, she kept looking like, stop. I said, she said, okay, do me a favor. I said, what? She said, no Max, no Philly, no Blakey, no Tony, no Roy. Greg Hutchinson. Wow. Shit. How am I going to do that? Because I spent all that time up till then learning all this other shit. I had no concept of I need to be me. Man. And every time I did something, she would come over and say, nope. Nope. So it was great because it took me back to zero. I was already at zero. It took me like -0. Like, so what do I play now? And when I would play something hip, she'd come over and she'd say, yeah, that's it. Develop that shit right there. Drum solo, no drums. Cymbal solo. What the fuck is a cymbal? Cymbal solo? Woo. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. 10 years later, I saw Billy Higgins do a cymbal solo. Wow. So you see what I'm saying? Like, she inspired me to reach deeper and to go a different direction. So that's super important. So find your inspiration, whether it be parents or other peers or whatever, but let that be strong for you and use that to make you go forward. Another question? It's like the rummage sale. Question? Okay, my man.
Would you ever transcribe like melodic solos, like horn solos and stuff?
Yes. So the key to this instrument here is playing that the same way. It's been a while. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see where we're tuned first. You have to learn the pitches, and so, you know, I used to do this all the time with Betty. She'd be like, yeah, I like that. But Blakey did it, right? So you just take melodies and learn them on the songs. What's new? Change the key.
drums so I could play that. What's now? And then you start the phrase like a horn player. You see, so it doesn't just become. So you have to manipulate all of that. So that's like a workout in itself. But you do that so that you understand how melodies work. Then when you solo the same way. So
Don't play the drums like a drummer. Play the drums like a horn player. Play like Charlie Parker, Sonny Rollins. All the other Roy Haynes, all that stuff will come out. And you'll understand the melodic playing of those guys if you approach it this way. So yeah, sit down with melodies. Just play melodies on the drums. You can do it that way, or just actually play melodies on the drums. It'll make you much better. And then we don't have to incur those stupid drummer jokes. You know the ones. Okay, we won't go there. Next question. In the back, anybody with questions back there? Those are the pros back there. Y'all got everything together, right? Okay. Time to go? He got to go. He's said, hey. Yes. We know how it is. We're going to be playing some more this week, so. Any more questions for you? Any more questions? Anybody? Going once? Yes, sir.
catch me now. When I'm walking out the room, please don't ask me a question, especially when I've been saying, this is what I hate. Don't get me out there and be like, hey, man, I got a question for you. Because I'm going to be like, wait a minute. I was standing here this whole time. So go ahead.
It's not so much a question.
Oh,
but,
good. I like that.
So thanks very much. No, Betty Carter is my favorite, so I'd just be intrigued to hear more about her.
Well, let me come over there and talk to you, man. Come on, man. You come over here and sit with me. Let me tell you about Betty Carter.
Betty Carter was the most intense person. So you think this is intense, right? Betty Carter could look at you in a way that would make you scared. She could look at you in a way like, this is on the gig though. She could look at you in a way that would make you say, okay, I need to turn it up. I need to turn it up to the next level. If you didn't, this is what would happen. The end of the tune was done. 3,000 people. Oh, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's been beautiful. Unfortunately, that tune didn't sound the way it was supposed to because... Or, little boys, you guys ready to play the next one? Little boys. Ooh, you want to get under my skin? Ooh, little boys. Actually, we were young, but little boys. Little boys, you want to try the next song now? So how do you get rid of that? You play your ass off. Then when she was doing this, when she was on stage like this, when Betty Carter, when she was in front of me like this, I knew it was on. Oh, yeah. When she would come over by me like this, and she starts scatting in my ear, I'm playing all this shit, she's scatting, I knew we were good. When she was standing there like this, I knew we had a problem. Like, I knew we were going to get it after the show, like somebody was getting fired. See, my thing was, there's only been one gig I've ever been fired from, and quit at the same time, and it was Betty Carter. And the only reason that happened is because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been on Joe Henderson's Lost Life record. So it came a moment where she said, you know, we have to rehearse. Cyrus Chestnut's coming in the band. And I said, well, Betty, I told you I got this record date with Joe Henderson. She said, well, I was like, she said, well, you got a choice. And before she could finish, I said, well, I guess I'm fired and I quit. She said, I guess so. Yeah. I said, well, thank you. She said, boy, she said, damn. But to show you how cool we were, I lived around, Betty Carter helped me get my first apartment. She was the person who guaranteed it. I moved out at 17, right? 17, 18. And this was a bond because I love Betty Carter. I was like you. I was like, man, Betty's the shit. So when this happened, I was like crushed. I was like, damn, man. She fired me, right? 3 hours later, she called me at home. She's like, hey, how you doing? So they used to call me, if anybody repeats this shit, me and you gonna have a problem, okay? She used to call me Black Pearl. So she said, hey, Black Pearl, are you all right? And I was like, who is this? She's like, motherfucker, what do you mean who this is? She changed quick. What do you mean who this is? It's Betty. I'm like, oh, hey. Did I leave something? What's wrong? She said, no, I'm just checking on you. She said, it's not often that I fire someone and I call them right away. She said, so you a bad motherfucker. She said, are you sure they can't change that date? I said, Betty, come on, man. She said, okay, well, you were done anyway. You got everything I needed to show you. I only did 2 years with Betty. She said, you got everything I need to show you. She said, you were one of the first guys who came in who knew my whole book of music, all of it. So if you want to play with somebody, learn all of their music. That's how you get the gig. Except you're not getting the gig with Josh and you're not getting the gig with Kurt. So you can forget about that shit. That's my shit. So anybody else you want to work on, you can have that. But my shit, no. That's not going to happen. But I'm willing to share with you, though. I share with Marcus. And this is the last thing I want to say is, when you work with somebody, like let's use Josh for instance, there's only a handful of drummers, and I've been the one playing the longest. Blade, me, Harlan, Marcus did some gigs, and Kendrick. That's it. And out of those, 2 have been the longest running ones, me and Blade. He always goes back to one of those 2. So they did the recording. We did a trio, we did a quartet recording. Then he did another quartet recording with the old group, right? It was killing. You see, so that's over 20 years I've been playing, making money with one person. Schofield, sub for Bill Stewart. You see how it works? So there's a layer of cats that we sub for each other. We ain't calling nobody down there. No, you got to be here. So get here, and we can call you the sub. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So it's this mentality throughout the music, and it's all love. I shared the stage with Bill Stewart. Bill Stewart was putting his foot in my ass every night. Oh my God, I was like, damn, Bill. One night I came off stage, I said, Bill, bro, listen, can you stop playing all them damn drums, please? Because this shit is, I'm trying to keep up with you, bro. He's like, oh, come on, man. I'm like, Bill, you wearing me out, man. You know Bill Stewart? Do you know Bill Stewart? If you don't know Bill Stewart, then you should know Bill Stewart. He's a perfect example of everything I'm talking about. Bill is Bill. And we don't need to go into anything else. Bill is Bill. But I'll tell you what, I'll go into a fight with Bill Stewart before I go in with a lot of cats. I'll get on the bandstand with Bill Stewart. I'll put Bill Stewart up against any drummer playing now. Any of them. Because he know more than all of them. It's true. Bill's as happy as he can be in life, in general. You take that however you want. I love me some Bill Stewart. And I found out firsthand. Sitting next to him looking like, damn, is this dude going to keep fucking over me like this? This is too much. I can't take it. I need to step, I thought, oh man, I need to step my game up. Bill's like bringing the best out of me every night. Every night. That was fire. Culminating, I think the show that's on YouTube was us in Valencia. And that shit's crazy. Like, I was ready for him that night, and then my bass drum pedal broke. Got me again. But competition, great. But we're friends. Brian Blaine, my boy. I've known Brian since Brian was still in school. I was already on the road. Brian was still in school. Brian was coming. Brian came. Brian's killing. Now, me and Brian got a special. We got another thing. That's like some, what do you guys call it? Like a bromance? That's some bromance shit right there, man. Because Brian, if you ever seen Brian, Brian is just a dude. He's just a super nice guy, man, right? So it's like, the contrast. Me and Brian are 2 different people. Like, I'm the guy that if you look at me the wrong way on the wrong day, we're going to have a problem. Brian's the guy that's like, you can look at him, he'll be like, hey, man, And I'm like, no. But when we play, that shit how I am off the stand, that's how he is on the stand. And it comes out of nowhere. Like, we were playing, all of a sudden, wow. So I'm like, damn. And he's just fire. He's burning like this. That's how you have to be. Keep your personality, but you got to burn. When you get on that bandstand, you got to be like Bill Stewart or Brian Blade, burning all the time. So I don't know if I answered your question. I just felt like saying that shit. It felt good to me. See, but I'm crazy. If you don't see how crazy I am now, this is what you need, right? Like I don't take me too seriously at any time, but take me seriously. But not too seriously. I don't want you to feel like this is not a dictatorship. This is all on you to do. This is for your enjoyment, for your lives. But I'm just trying to paint you the picture of what can be possible depending on how hard you want to go in. If you really want to go all the way in, It's a beautiful thing. If you just want to do it as a hobby, it's cool too, because you can educate those people who don't know. But if this is your life and this is what you want to do, you got to go all the way in. And in going all the way in, it makes you like me. It makes you laugh at shit that's sometimes funny and laugh at shit that sometimes isn't funny. Why? Because in the end, we both get to go back here. All of you get to play your instruments. Some stuff a lot of people don't get to do. So I hope that answered about Betty. Basically, Betty wanted perfection every night. And that's how I am. I want perfection every night. Joshua Redmond wants perfection every night. John Schofield wants perfection every night. You dig? Brian Blade wants perfection every night. Bill Stewart wants perfection every night. Now, we don't get there, but that's what we want. So wanting and getting to it are two different things. I hope I never get to it. I hope I never get to a perfect night of music. I don't want to. I want to keep searching. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to keep coming off the band saying, like, this shit was fucked up. Not cool. Like, and other people are like, oh my God, the show was killing. And I'm like, you never be rude. You say thank you. In your mind, though, you're like, nah, this much, we gotta go higher. So people hear one thing, you feel something else, always. So keep that in mind. Don't start to believe what the people are telling you. That's where the ego can mess you up. And that's a whole other conversation we don't have time for. That's some other shit in the music that you have to be careful of. Don't let the ego get you, because the ego can take you to a place that's not cool, and you start to abuse the music, you start to abuse yourself, because you know that you can do anything, and people just... So always be respectful of the music and be respectful of yourself and the learning that needs to happen. What time is it?
5 minutes to 4.
Oh, we got 5 more minutes. See, I'm good, right? Time. Drummers got good time. See, I go right up to the limit and we stop. Last question? Anyone? Oh, my brother in the back. Yes, sir. You got to come to the forefront. This is our time now, brother. Forefront. Y'all didn't get that. See?
My question is...
yes, sir.
Yes, when did you develop your own style of playing, and if you haven't yet, do you think that you have like more
Yes.
to learn to finally develop your own style of playing?
That's a very good question. And that's the question that's a lifetime question. I'm still trying to get it together, man. I'm still trying to find, I have no idea. To be honest, I really don't. At the point that I think I have it, that I get disgusted with that and I go back to the drawing, I go back to zero. So I always feel like the shit's not cool. Like really, I always feel like I just so much to learn. It's so overwhelming, but I put it in perspective. And the perspective is this. For the time that I have on this earth, I'm going to try and be the best I can be for the talents I was given. Now it's up to me to further and make those talents better, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to kill myself over something that needs to evolve naturally, that I need to become. So when I become a better person, a better father, all those things better, this will get better too. So as my life as a man gets better, things get better. As we feel better, as me and you in this room, the two African Americans in here, as life gets better for us, as people treat us better with respect, we feel better about the music. Especially since it's our shit. Sorry guys, I gotta talk the truth here. Maybe it's too much for you. You're gonna listen though. So life is this way. So right now, I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling Coltrane moment right now. Why? Because I feel like my life is not respected. So, you know, I'm here talking to you about the music, but my mind is somewhere else right now. Really, honestly, I'm giving you this love that I've been giving all my life, and it's always been the same dynamic. Very few brothers, the same dynamic. But we give and give and give, and the only time we're respected is when we're up there. As soon as I step down here, I get treated like shit. So the narrative is going to change. Either it will change from you guys bringing the music out to the people, as I said earlier, or it's going to change another way. God help us if it goes the other way, then it has to change. God help you. Ooh, it's going to be fun. So I encourage you to learn the music and to really put it out there for people so that they start to think differently, because honestly, we're tired of giving and giving and getting nothing back. And this music is giving everyone so much. Everything that we do is giving the world so much. Sports, everything. And yet, we only respect it when we're doing what we do. So if you're not going to respect us the whole time, we're going to stop doing what we do. We're going to stop teaching you. We're going to stop showing you how to play the music. And if we remove ourselves from this music, any music, it won't exist. Remember that. Clearly, it won't exist. Right? So, all the people that you look up to, all your heroes, musical heroes that you emulate, okay. Where'd that come from? Right? So, sorry if I got to break it down for you, but I feel like if I don't start on your level, it won't change. If I start talking to you like that, you can listen or not listen, but you got to know where the shit came from. So, sorry to get like that on you, but I can't fake the funk no more. I can't hide it no more. I can't come sit in front of a bunch of people and act like other shit ain't happening in the world. It is happening, and you need to be aware of it also. But how do we affect that? Right here. This is the way that you can speak very loud. You can do it right here by learning the music, respecting the art form that you love, that we created. Don't bullshit then. If you're not going to be out there protesting with us, then do it this way. Right? Yes? No?
No? Okay, because if it's not that way, then you should leave the room too.
Because if you're not going to do that this way, then that means you're on the other side of me. Ooh, you don't want that. So, all I have to say is I love everyone. But you got to do the work. To you guys out there too who are not in this room, sorry, I've been looking at the back of my head, but you get the message. And this is streaming, so you all should get the message. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Learn the music. Respect the art form. Respect me. Respect my people. Respect yourselves. If you're not going to do that, then we don't need you. None of us need you. Black, white, gay, straight, we don't need you. If you're not going to do any of those things, we don't need you. So thank you. Thank you guys out there for listening. You could take what I said and be like, oh, you can listen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Give it up for Greg Hutchinson. Yeah.
I hope I ain't scare anybody, man. It's just real talk, though. You know? Sometimes you need real talk. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go to that Trump rally now. See, now, if I would have said anything about Trump, the streaming shit, as soon as you say something about Trump, and I'll give you a little history. I used to live with a very prominent lawyer in New York City. He was the East Coast Johnny Cochran. He's the guy who defended the first time they tried to blow up the World Trade Center, and he was Biggie's lawyer. So my phone is tapped all the time. So if you call me talking some shit, you're gonna have a problem. So as soon as I start to say something about Trump or anything anti-U.S., be sure that it's no, I'm very serious, bro. Be sure it's registered. I'm a jazz drummer, right? This is what they say. But when you say certain shit and you have a platform and you've been in certain places, you become more than just that. So some people I've been around in the U.S. who were very influential. So the mere fact that I live with this man means that everything I say, and I found out the hard way because the U.S. government called me here on some shit that I said on Instagram that they deemed was threatening. I said, no, it wasn't threatening, it was truth. There was nothing threatening about what I said. What I said was the feeling of most African American people in the U.S. is like, if you push me up against the wall like this, I got no choice. I can't talk to you no more. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X tried that. That didn't work. So if you push me up against the wall, what can I do? What's the choice? So this is what I'm saying. It's like we don't want to get there. I play music. I didn't come into this earth to put my hands on anybody else. That's not. I wasn't raised that way. But you give me no choice. Like you're shooting me in my house. You're shooting me in cars in front of my kids. What choice? You don't have to deal with that. None of you have to deal with that shit. 1, 2. That's it. If we and him walk down the street late at night here, guess what? Good chance we get fucked with. You guys do it, nothing. You see? So I try not to bring that up, but now the people I talk to, we need to bring that up all the time because you need to feel the same feeling that I feel all the time. Otherwise, it's not fair. So the fear that I have, you all should know what that fear is of walking out your house and at any moment something can happen to you. You don't have that fear, but you need to have it. And until you have it, you won't see things the way I see things. The life I live. And my life from his life is totally different. Where you from?
Congo.
See, I can't even relate to the shit he's going through. So you see what I'm saying? There's different levels. So if I can't relate to what he's going through, but in the same time we're going through the same shit. But y'all can't relate to it because you don't have to deal with that. So we have to understand each other and be able to relate to each other's problems. That's the only way this is going to change. It's not one man. One man brought the light to it, but that's just been going on in Europe too. To think that you don't have the same thing here, or in Italy, or in Spain, I've been to those places. It exists. The same racism exists. Maybe you don't talk about it that much, but it exists. So how, as musicians, how do we change this? That should be your goal. How do I change the shit that's going on in society through my music? That's all I can say. That's it. Yeah, man. Thank you. Oh, yeah, go ahead, man. Well, there's a, if you listen to like A Love Supreme, this is a period in life there was a lot of things. So when you hear the music, there's an urgency, sorry. Which you could also take as an anger, but there's an urgency in the music to be played and because of what's going on that people are fighting for, to play the music, but also the civil rights shit that was happening. So music was different then.
I'm just asking because I find the same feeling. I mean,
Oh, no, it's true.
But check it out. But the last week I checked the news
Yeah.
the journalist is characterizing like the angry complaining.
No, well, he could be, yeah, she could say he's angry. I mean, he probably was angry. But the point is, this perception was because the people didn't understand the music, but also think about what was going on in those times. I mean, people were upset. People were really like, what the fuck is happening? Like, so, but the beautiful thing is, even at that time, the black people and white people in all ages, all races were making jazz music together. We're always the ones that are civil. We're the ones who, if life was a mirror of us, we'd be fine. We got people from different places all together. This is what I'm saying. No one else can do it. We can do it. Because we already do it. Different places, different people from different places who love one thing, this music. It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So we have to take this little micro thing and make it a bigger picture. I don't know how to do it. You guys have to, your generation can figure this shit out even more because you're more savvy with electronics and shit. For me, it's really like, I can talk to you about music, but it's really like, for me, I need to feel this because it's an urgency. And so really, when I talk to you about it, it's kind of hard to speak about it in terms like this to all of you because some people just won't get it, but it's really urgent at this point. Like, this is secondary right now. It's like this message has to be the first thing that happens because if this don't happen, there won't be any more music. It'll be like COVID. It won't be this kind of camaraderie that we had. Like, it'll even be me being against some of my friends because if I gotta take a line, I gotta take a line. And I don't want to do that, but if I gotta take a line, then that's what happens. So we don't want to get to having to take a line. We want to get to everyone gets to prosper and play and express their feelings. And like I said, the shit that we do, if the rest of the world was like us, the shit would be cool. Like, we're all different people playing this music. Man, girls, like I said, straight, whatever you are, I don't care. When you get up here, that's all I care about. Your shit outside is your shit.
Yeah.
But until that shit's right, I'm taking a social decision now. I'm 50 and I grew up watching this shit happen. I thought never would happen in my generation, but it's happened. And so now it's happening the way I saw this killing growing up, but I said, oh no, shit gonna change, but it hasn't changed. It's gotten worse. So
And
now
it's not so new. I mean,
no, it's not new. No, shit.
Some
In New York, we
before,
had
I mean.
Amadou Diablo. We had all kinds of shit. We had dudes, the police officers sticking the plunger up my African brother's ass in custody. Amadou Diablo shot 41 times in the fucking going into his house. 41 times. It takes you 41 bullets. I'm not even 41 yet to kill a dude, and you didn't have to kill him. Whereas if it was you, either they would shoot you in your leg or they wouldn't shoot you.
Depends where I am also.
In New York. Yeah.
In New York,
Without
yeah,
knowing where
probably.
you're from, just looking at you, they would give you the benefit of the doubt. So this is the world we're in. So we got to change this narrative. I'm positive. We got to be positive. We got to try and do it. I'm also a realist, which means that I'm giving a little bit of time for this shit to happen the way it could, and if it doesn't, then we got another issue to deal with. So I don't want to get to that point because I like playing drums. I like being nice, and I can't. But maybe in some ways you kind of see. I mean, I don't condone putting your hands on anyone or killing anyone or blowing it. That shit is not cool. But maybe you can kind of see in the weirdest fucking way how people, when their backs are pushed up, like, so the perception, like, if let's take it for example, like Israel and Palestine, right? So it's two different sides, two different stories, right?
Yes.
But the perception from one side is this, and the perception from the other side is that, right? So if the side that feels that they're not getting equal share, well, what are they going to do? Well, what they've been doing. Well, the other side feels like, well, why are you doing this? And so it has to be an understanding between those two. And I know people, I have great Israeli friends, I have great friends from Palestine, that get along. They play music together. And they're always like, man, why can't the rest of the fucking two places be like this? I'm like, because you have enough people that aren't, and because the younger generation keeps getting taught hate. So it's funny because I use something from I like to watch a lot of rap battles. One of my favorite rap battlists is my boy Loaded Lux. Loaded Lux versus Calico. Isn't it evil to live backwards? Ooh. You gotta understand wordplay. Isn't it evil to live backwards? That's what we've been doing, man. So
Yeah, and I didn't catch your name.
Greg.
Greg.
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah.
What's your name?
It's a Kevin.
Kevin. And what's yours?
Hey, my name is George.
George.
Ruggiero.
Ruggiero. Yes. Yes.
Philip, yes.
Someone. Okay.
Oh,
Where you from? Where you from?
I'm from North Korea.
Just
kidding, I'm from South Korea.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh shit. Wow, how'd you get here, man? No, I was about to say, man, I'm glad you're here. That's even better. I was like, damn, that's pretty powerful. No, so that's that's what we do, man. That's what we do. So I'll be here all week. We're gonna have some fun, and now I gotta take this shit back and work on this beat real quick. But we hang out later on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is my room all week, right? Okay.
And not all week. I mean, you can live here because tomorrow at 10 you have to
come here.
Yeah, come here.
Okay, that works.
For sure, but sometimes you have lesson in other room,
Okay.
But normally this is the normal. Nice workshop,
Okay. No, I had a good time.
Yeah.
Good time. Yes. Let me see. You good, man?
Man, like my heart is crying.
No, don't cry. Your heart should be feeling good, brother.
Yeah.
We good, man.
I know, but also like
But it's good that if you feel that way, that means that's good because that means that you understand something. So if you feel that way, that's good. And now take that same thing and use that as power. You have power to change people. So that's the whole point. It's like you can feel down the way the shit is. Yeah, we know that. But how do we change it? So you're a young cat. You have the power to change a lot of things. So Look at it that way. Like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to change. Like the shit that's happening, the narrative is going to be different, and that's how we do it, man. You know? I think. Wait a minute. Here, let's see. Yeah, all these people. Oh, which paper? Oh, shit, yeah. Hi, guys. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you. That's what you should be. It's all right. It's okay though, because you come from a place where you're supposed. Come on, man. You get a hug from your girl. It's all good, man. It's all good, love. Come here. Come here. Everyone has a situation that they deal with. So maybe for you this affects you a different way because you think about something else. And the same struggle is not just black women, it's a struggle for women in life. It's a struggle for many different people, many different races, not just black. You know, that's my struggle there. But this is for anyone who has to deal with